you're a teacher and you're thinking about ways in which you could systematize your own development, what kind of tools are available to you, or things that you should or shouldn't do in your career. This video is about that. We may have a tool for you to help you systematize your professional development. So we're going to talk about it right after our vinheta.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So as Walter was saying before, vinheta, how the hell do you say vinheta in English?
It's actually a vignette.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but
so
usually they would refer to it as opening, right?
Okay. All right. So the opening. I prefer opening than vignette. So you see, leveling up English proficiency. That's great. Folks, today we're going to talk about a tool that was designed by Freeman, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around 1988. I'm not sure, 1988, 1998. I think the date is very important there, but have a look whenever if you're interested. The KASA framework, as in KASA, KASA, is a framework designed for teachers to look at their professional development from a more systematized perspective. The KASA framework sets pillars so that you can better categorize and analyze your development and plan further development. The letters stand for knowledge, awareness, skills, and attitude. When we talk about knowledge, we are looking at everything that a teacher should know to be able to do their job properly. For instance, as we mentioned in the previous video, you need knowledge of language systems, of grammar, of vocabulary, of pronunciation, learning methods, teaching methods, learning and teaching theory, language acquisition theories, and all this knowledge would help you. Oh, and of course, knowledge of the language, right? Like control of the language. So all of this would make up the group for knowledge. So everything that you should know to do your job properly or to develop as a teacher. Then we go.
Yeah, I was just going to add knowledge and awareness. To me, they're sort of intertwined.
Because awareness, as described by Freeman, is more on, how can I put this, more on a perception level. Awareness is how aware are you on how your peers see you in the teaching community, in the school, how students perceive you, how your leaders perceive you in the school. It's awareness of strengths as a teacher, as awareness of your weaknesses and developmental gaps as a teacher. I feel that language awareness would be closer to the area of knowledge, but sure, they might maybe on this liminal point between one or the other.
I was going for something more in the semantics of the word awareness in that case, because if you're thinking of, for example, imagine a teacher who wants to teach C2 level. You have to be aware of certain things in order to be able to teach at that level. There's a great deal of things that we are aware, linguistically speaking, because of exposure. Certain things that haven't actually been analyzed and systematized in terms of learning that as much. You still understand what it means. You like, if, let's say you're teaching a C2 group and somebody asks you about something, maybe you never really looked up that word in a dictionary, but you are able to come up with something based on its context, or this is about this, we use it to talk about that. So to me, language awareness, it's that profound notion of language. And in this case, you're talking about like having the same sort of notion about yourself as a professional.
Some sort of intuition, right? Exactly. So language intuition.
That's the word.
I think I have a point there. So we mentioned K for knowledge, A for awareness, and then S for skills. Skills is, well, what CELTA focuses on. For instance, if you haven't seen our videos on CELTA, click them somewhere. So CELTA is focused on the skills of teaching. Of course, you will develop some awareness, some teaching skills, as in planning a lesson, giving feedback to students, correcting mistakes, planning a writing class, monitoring. What else? Filling in data on the platform. Yeah, so everything that is connected to the actual doing of the profession. A bit more physical, but it is more physical when compared to knowledge, for instance. It's fundamental that teachers have a deeper knowledge of the language than their students have. You're not necessarily going to expose students to all the rules of the grammar and etc. But it's good that you have it.
Can I give you a practical example? Yeah, okay. And then please speak your mind. Tell me if you agree or disagree. For example, let's say somebody has been teaching English for 5 years. So you would expect that that person understands the mechanics of teaching, what is expected. For example, in terms of how you present language to learners, language presentations. What kind of knowledge do you have about the way you do it? For example, are you going to do it teaching inductively, deductively, using
noticing or guided discovery,
using dictogloss, that kind of thing, so you can use those, or at least that that you have to cover meaning, pronunciation, and form. And then this teacher realizes, I am not really good at covering pronunciation. So I think you can put the skill in there together with the knowledge of the language, your awareness of the language as well, if you think about it. Right?
And you're using all 4 pillars there, right?
Absolutely.
Because you were aware enough to notice that you're not doing a great job with teaching pronunciation. You're going to need to study pronunciation, phonemic symbols, connected speech, whatever, and perhaps some techniques on how to teach so that you can develop the skill of teaching pronunciation. But you're only going to do that if you have a professional attitude and not a fuck this attitude, which would lead to, well, I cannot teach. Can we be blocked from YouTube for saying bad words?
Videos are not for kids. So
okay. So if you have the F this attitude and say like, well, I cannot teach pronunciation, who cares? You will not develop, right? So in a way, you're using all of the pillars of the KASA framework to help you face this developmental gap that you just realized you have. And then we get down to attitude, which is your professional attitude. Attitude pertains to how you interact with peers, interact with your leaders, how you interact with students, how you talk about students when students are not around, which I think this is a big attitude issue. Yeah. So if you are a professional and you have a professional attitude, you cannot badmouth students behind their backs, which is a very common sight in teachers' rooms. It's a very sad sight in teachers' rooms to see a bunch of marmanjo talking about students as if they were not people. So
or undermining them. I mean, it's okay to have your favorites. I think it's human. I think everybody, like mothers and fathers, but it's no excuse to say, after all, we're teachers. We are here to teach the language. Do you really believe that everyone can learn? I do.
Me? I do. Yes.
I do. Like,
I was scared for a second there. I thought you were gonna say no. I said, Walter, we have to talk.
Not at all, right? What I believe is that some people might need more guidance. They might need more time, and that's all about taking a lesson at the student's pace, right? So you pace the lesson according to the needs of that group or that student. But everyone can learn the language. I really believe everyone can learn the language, no matter their age, problems, whatever comes with the package. Everyone can learn the language, and it is. I think that at the latest stages of my career, I've been trying to be more and more patient. And I think that's something about my attitude, because I am a very anxious person and I want the person to learn. Yeah, I'm saying it that as a teacher, right, that goes with your attitude. That's going to dictate what you're doing in your lesson, how you're carrying them out.
And it's not to say that students are great, they're perfect, they're brilliant and fantastic and all polite. Sometimes we have students who are very impolite, who are very rude, who are aggressive, disinterested. I mean, it's not easy. It makes our jobs very, very challenging, but it's part of the job. So I feel that disrespect should not be part of the job. Talk to your coordinator. It's part of, I was going to say their job, but it's usually her. Or the industry is girl power, like woman power all the way. So talk to your coordinator. It's part of her job to handle these very difficult situations. And I find that sometimes, this is a little gimmick of mine, but sometimes when I feel that students are being very disrespectful and rude and just want to disrupt the classroom environment, I repeat to myself, I'm a professional, I'm trained for this, so that I try to distance myself a little bit from the situation, because I feel that sometimes we take things very personally and we think that the student is attacking us. They might be, but they're attacking you as a teacher and not you as a person. Let's try to detach and say, this kid is giving me trouble, and I'm a professional. Like, I know what I'm doing. So
like when you have a very disruptive student, and then I've seen this happen, and then you're like, I don't know, maybe that student disrupted the lesson so much or hurt you at some level, something like unacceptable. You can't take it, right? And sometimes you got to take action for that, but you do have to remember who's the adult in the room, who's the professional in the room, right? You need to remember that you were there, it's your job, and you got to find ways to fix it. I'm not saying that everything can be fixed, but yeah, it's about the professional attitude in there.
I was teaching a class once, just a quick anecdote. They were 10-year-olds. And I had this student who was very, very disruptive and very disrespectful. And he has been disrespectful the whole semester, the whole term. And then this one class, like, I asked him to, I don't know what he was doing, but I asked him to stop doing the thing and sit down and go back to refocusing class. He just went to the window. He opened the windows, what he had said outside, and he just shouted like a plenos pulmões, "Meu professor é babaca!" And then closed the windows and sat down. What is going on?
There is psychology to explain that. I'm not a psychologist, so I'm not going to try. But there is psychology that person probably has some sort of, a student probably had some sort of psychological, I don't want to say problem, but there is something there.
It's not usual, right? It's common behavior. But I think this is it with the KASA framework: knowledge, awareness, skills, and attitude. Well, why bother? I think it's an interesting question. This can help you, and with between bunny ears there, but this can help you focus your development. So if you feel that you don't know enough about something, you can develop knowledge through webinars, through talks, reading books, listening to podcasts, listening to this. You can develop. Then awareness is a little bit more challenging. Let's skip to skills. If you feel that you need to develop a skill, listening to a talk or listening to us here talk about the skill can only help you so much, because the skill has to be practiced and you have to get feedback on this skill. So you need a peer to observe classes or to read your lesson plans and give you feedback on the thing that you need developing. Don't fall to the fallacy that practice makes perfect. It does not. Practice makes automatization. You're going to automatize a process if you practice it enough, but it doesn't mean that the process is going to be better. For instance, we've been brushing our teeth since we were 6, and we haven't developed anything into brushing teeth. It is a lot of practice, but there's no development. You automatize it. Now you can brush your teeth while you make coffee, but it's not better, right? So for focused, specialized feedback, and this is why if you want your English level to develop, talking to other people will not necessarily help you, but you need someone listening to give you feedback, specialized feedback on that. And then we're left with awareness and attitude. attitude, which are more nebulous to develop.
I'm just going to include something in what you said. Like, if you're listening to other people talk and you're not getting any feedback, the feedback is very important. But if you're listening to other people and that helps you question things, like listening to podcasts, listening to us, if that helps you question things, if that helps you think about things that you wouldn't normally, then I think it's already doing something for you.
It can help boost your awareness. Oh, okay, this is new. I didn't know that this existed. And then you question things and you question your methods. Maybe a discussion group would be great to help develop this awareness. Attitude is quite hard to develop. I would suggest observing people whom you think are professionals at what they do. Observing them, not their classes, but observing them outside of classes. How does this person behave? How do they talk? How do they dress? Even if you want to get to that level of detail. Yeah. When they are in a teacher's conference, when they are watching someone present at a talk, how they behave when they are in a meeting with other teachers or with bosses. And I think copying is great, really. I think it's that there's this book, Hobby como Artista, that the author suggests stealing things, like little things, shades of personality from many people so that you can shape your own as research. He says that if you copy from one person, that's plagiarism. If you copy from many people, that's research. So I think it's an interesting take into attitude.
You kind of build a persona there, your professional self. Yeah. Well, in terms of attitude, I have to say, like, I'm not sure that a framework is necessary. I think having guidance is excellent. Having feedback is excellent. If you have a boss that is telling you what you can't do, but that comes with, you should have some sort of sense in there, where I actually think that everyone does, to things that are acceptable and things that are not, or things that are necessary, such as a dress code. You're a teacher. Are you going to go to school wearing shorts? Is that okay, or is that not okay? Or does that depend on the country where you are, or the school or the city where you are? Is that cultural? What about, for example, would you hide your tattoo? Would you take off your earrings? We've seen these things, right? Like, I do what I think is right. What I think is acceptable, what I think is appropriate. I'm just not sure that you need a framework for that. I do think that the things about knowledge, skills, awareness, the framework will be great, because it helps you systematize and see where you want to get and maybe plan the career. Just a personal opinion.
And you raised an interesting point that we might take to a future level, which is career planning. I think it's interesting.
You can outline, plan things. Bruno, cool. I think this is it for this one.
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much for watching this video. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do it. We really appreciate it. Leave us your comment. What do you think about the KASA framework? Is this something you'll be interested in? Do you think it helps? Let us know in the comments. We certainly appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
See you soon. Bye-bye.